Welcome back, and I'm excited to share that I added a Breitling to my collection. This is the first Breitling to come into my collection. Actually, I had very little interest in Breitling as a brand because there was nothing that really piqued my interest. As I've been getting into the hobby, I've been looking at all sorts of different brands, and Breitling is one that never really stood out until I saw a watch in a display case at an AD, and it wasn't this exact one, but it was this line. And so the line is Top Time. They have several models in their Top Time collection, and the reason why it stood out was it's a chronograph, and the subdials are actually circle-ish squares, and they call them squircles. I thought that looked really cool, and so I actually started looking into these watches, and I did find out they had one version that was a limited edition run, one of 2000, and it piqued my interest. So I started to go hunting for it. I visited a couple different ADs and they did not have this watch. Actually, a Breitling boutique I stopped in did have this watch, and I actually wanted to go to my normal AD just to consolidate my spend in one place. And so what I did was I put a deposit down, I secured the watch, and then I went over to my normal AD, and then I asked about the watch. They tried to source their own, but they couldn't. So I went back to the boutique and I proceeded to pick it up. So without further ado, let me dive into this. They come in a smaller box, which is interesting. It also came with some extra goodies, which I will show you later after showing you the watch. You can see it says Breitling on the front of the box. We look inside and you have the Top Time Deus. I didn't even know what a Deus was. I thought originally this was pronounced Deuce. But a Deus is kind of like a moped, and you'll see on the back that it has an etching of the moped as well. On top here, you have the warranty information and the quick start guide in multiple languages. Aside from the watch, they gave me this. It's a Deus Cycle Company Breitling. It's a canvas tote. We look inside, we have a tote bag. It says Deus Cycle Company Breitling on it. It's black. It's got like a zipper and it's very thick. Oh, look at that. The color inside is pretty cool. I think it's not exact match, but it's very close to that light baby blue on the dial of the watch. But this is pretty cool. It's always fun to get things with your watch purchases, but this was specifically designed to come with this particular watch. It has some nice touches like the blue. Back to the watch. Let's take it out of the box and, oh, that's interesting. The watch roll itself is a case. Well, that's neat. So you can use this as a travel pouch too. It's kind of cool that the box can flatten so you can save space too. As you can see here, it's got a lightning second hand for the chronograph. It's very similar to the one on the Milgauss, but the color is different. This is a bit deeper, darker orange, while the one on the Milgauss is a little bit lighter. I think it's a very cool touch. You've got the two subdials here. You got the small seconds, and then you've got the minutes for the chronograph. This one really stood out because of the color combinations. Actually, while I was at the store, I looked at different straps that I could potentially put on. I thought maybe that the blue one would potentially be a good fit for this watch, but there wasn't one that really tickled my fancy. So I just walked out with the brown leather strap that it originally came with. The coloring on the dial is actually quite cool too. You got the red and the orange, and then you have this baby blue Rehot, and then you got this creamish dial. All in all, I think it's a kind of vintage looking watch. It's very nice to look at. I think this is a conversation starter. It's quite unique. It comes with a deployant clasp, which is super thoughtful. Makes it much easier to put the watch on, take it off. It is not a screw down crown, so the water resistance is only 30 meters, but it's a leather strap, so I'm not going to be taking this swimming. You've got the chronograph, you got the reset. If we look on the back of the watch, you can see that it's one of 2000, and here is a sketch of someone on the Deus. It looks like a cartoonish drawing, which is very unique. It's also very fun. Why don't we check out the measurements of the watch? This is, I think, supposed to be a 41 millimeter watch. Just shy of 41, 40.9 millimeters. As far as the thickness, see it at about 14.2 millimeters. The lug to lug on this, it looks kind of long. It's at 51 millimeters, but it doesn't feel that long because of the way that the lugs are shaped. It hugs your wrist, which is pretty nice. In between the lugs, 20 millimeters, and then you've got like a slight taper on the strap. At the top, it's about 19.8 all the way down to about 17.7. So slight taper on the strap, but it's not a steel bracelet, so it's not like a huge deal. Why don't we see how heavy it is? In my hand, it doesn't feel that heavy. It's probably because it's a leather strap. It's just primarily the weight of the case, and it's 107 grams. Why don't we take a look at the accuracy? So this is a cost certified chronometer, so I would expect the accuracy to be pretty good. Here we're seeing -1 to +1 seconds, which is pretty dang good. It's definitely a fun watch. It does speak to me. It's very interesting. I really love the look of it, like that vintage look on it. I like that it is a circle case with the swirls inside. So there is some lume on the hour markers and the hands, so you should have no problem reading this watch in low light. The color of the lume is actually quite nice too. It's not that bright green, it's more soft teal, I would say, and it fits in with the aesthetic of the watch, which looks quite nice. Well, there you have it. That is the Breitling Time Deus. Let me throw it on the wrist. There it is. I think this is a very cool one to add to my collection. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this watch, what you think about Breitling, and I'd be curious to hear if any of you all have a Top Time or are Breitling fans. Thanks again for stopping by, and if you like this content, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.